Well, hey everyone, how you doing? This is Don Smith, and today I'd like to show you a cool new app from the folks at PhotoMark. And I know a lot of you, including myself, are using these cool looking watermarks from Photo Logo, and there's a couple of other companies out there. Mine, it happens to be from Photo Logo. And about 6, 7 months ago, I put out a video on how to go ahead and apply that logo through Photoshop. I know some of you don't have Photoshop or don't know how to write an action, so along comes this little app, and it just makes applying a watermark and a little border really simple. And I'm going to show you how to do it. We're in the interface here of PhotoMark, and you notice there's just 3 tabs up here. And the first one is we're going to want to go and grab a picture. So I happen to output mine. I do all my editing in Lightroom and then through Photoshop, and from there, I just go ahead and output usually to a folder with all my TIFFs or what have you. So I've created a folder on my desktop called Photo Logo Output. And I'm gonna grab a picture I did a couple of years ago from a place called Milford Sound. One of the reasons I wanted to grab this picture was I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. And this Friday, Mission Impossible 8 is going to come out in the studios. And well, let's click here so I can make a little bit larger image here of Milford Sound. This is Edit Photos. We're going to go to the second tab. Now you're seeing the picture I'm talking about. We just concluded a workshop, Gary Hart and I, in New Zealand, and in the Tianau area. We actually have 2 sounds that we could go out on. One is called Milford and one is called Doubtful. I've been on both of them and love the Doubtful sound. It's a full day event for us in our workshop. You go all the way out. You cross a Lake Manapuri. You bust up to the top of this fjord, drop you off, take pictures of the fjord, and then on down, and then you take about a 3.5 hour boat ride through the fjord in Fiordland National Park. And they actually interchange the term fjord and sound. It means the same thing. And then they take you all the way out to the Tasman Sea, turn you around and bring you back in. We had dolphins jumping, waterfalls. They even at one point cut the engines and let you listen to total silence. And it's almost spiritual. It's so cool. This is the other sound that they have called Milford Sound. And you're going to recognize this view from the trailers I've been seeing of Mission Impossible 8. And there's a snowfield up to the left of this image where for 3 days last summer when Gary and Hart and I were over scouting for our workshop, that they filmed the helicopter scenes that you're actually going to see Tom Cruise in. And our driver, Steve Norris from Trips and Tramps, who handled our driving for our workshops this year, actually was able to shuttle Tom Cruise around for that movie. And we asked him, well, I actually asked him a lot of questions about it. And he said, it's kind of surprising. Tom Cruise was a very nice guy. Right around this area here at the entrance to the sound, he was actually shooting a scene where he was hovering his helicopter and he burned his engine out and almost crashed. And they had to send off for another engine, which they did from Queenstown. I guess they flew a private jet over to Sydney, loaded the engine up, brought it back in, installed it, and took off the next day and finished the filming of the movie. So some fun little stories about how the movie was filmed, but I'm planning to check it out this upcoming weekend. But let's get back to PhotoMarks. So I'm in the Edit Photos menu, and you can see there's not a whole lot over here. In fact, we have to come up over here, and we actually have to go in and click on Add a Filter. So when I do that, we get all these different choices coming up. And the first thing I've got to do is go in and find my logo. So I'm going to select Logo, and I can double click it, or I can click OK, and it's going to come up. Now, by default, you're going to see a logo that PhotoMark has installed in there, just to kind of give you an idea what the logo would look like and how you position it. So I'm going to just go ahead, and actually we don't even have to delete that. I'm going to click on Browse, and I'm coming into my photo logo, which I have a couple done on in black type and then a couple done in white type. And I like using the white type against a white, well, excuse me, not against a white background, but this is the high-res version. And in here is where we're going to go ahead and we're going to make some changes. So let's first of all, we're going to scale this way down. I'm going to come way down here. Well, let's just pop it in. I'm going to go 10%. And now you can start to see my logo come in. So I'm going to drop it down even more. And it will change in real time. That's looking about right. Alpha, I'm going to leave alone. If I was to lower the alpha, that would make it go a little bit lighter. But I think against this dark background, I kind of like it the way it is. Now, the way we move it down or left or right or up is up here. So I'm going to come to delta Y first of all, and I'm going to lower that down. And you can see now it's going to start moving down. I'm going to have to get in the negative range here. And a lot of it's just kind of eyeballing it. We're getting it closer. I think I'm going to go down. Let's try down around -40 and see where it puts it. We can come down a little bit more. Okay, it's getting it almost into position. That's looking pretty good. You can see I have bottom right, but you can move it around anywhere you would like. And now I want to move it in a little bit more to the right. So I'll go to the X delta, and we're going to lower that down a little bit. And let's move it over to the right-hand side here, about equidistance of what I have on the left side. We're going to have to go a little bit more. And I'm just going to go a little bit more here. Okay, so now I have it pretty well positioned where I would like it. I could also grab it inside this area here and move it around. But as you can see, when I get into the minus area, it really doesn't want to move, and that's why I come back here. Let's just go back and put these numbers in and kind of speed this up. Whoops, we got to add a minus to that number. Now we got it over there, and I think this was about -40, if I recall. We'll just check that out now. It wasn't quite that. So I'll come back up, move it off that right side a little bit more. And now we're getting it almost where we want it. I think I'm going to lower it down a little bit more. And there we go. And certainly if we wanted to bring it up or down, we could go into the scale box. But, you know, I think a watermark should just do that. I don't want my watermark becoming the main focus of an image. And I see that going on a lot on the web. Remember, the eye is attracted to the brightest part of the image. And now that I say that, I may just lower down the alpha a little bit here. Let's see, that's actually brightening it. So let me go the other direction. And let's see if we can lighten this up just a bit. There we go. Okay, now I think I have it positioned where I want it to be, and I'm going to click OK. Okay, now I want to add a simple black border around that. So what I'm going to do is come back to Add Filter. This time I'm going to come down into Decorate, and right here I'm going to click Simple Border. Click OK. And by default it comes up kind of a purple color. I'm not sure why they would have chosen that as default, but I'll just bring this over to black. And what I want to do is, instead of 100 pixels out, I just want to make this a simple 1 pixel black border. Okay, and now I've got my little black border around it. I'll come up here to setup is going to be the next one. So this, let's check this out. My output, I'm going to click, I'm going to put a folder on my computer somewhere. And where I've chosen to do it is on my desktop. And you see I have a folder named Photo Logo Output. And keep the original image format if possible. That's fine because I'm already going to, I've already have it sized as a JPEG. Down here on the bottoms in settings, open output folder after processing and set output photos, date and attribute, same as the original. I really don't want to delete the source photo. I never want to do that in case I've made a mistake or I don't like the placement. And when I've got, so I leave that one unchecked. And when I've got everything ready, I'm just going to click process, click yes. And because I've done this one already, I'm just going to click yes to rename it. You'll see how fast this goes. And voila, there is, let's just open this up in preview here. And there is my image. So that's how you use the new PhotoMarks. Check them out. It's really a cool, simple way to add your photo logo. And yes, you can save your settings. You just go under the File menu in Photo Logos and you say Save Profile. And just designate an area where you want to save that profile. Give it a name. I call this horizontal 1200 pixels. And I can call that up. I don't have to go in and reinvent the wheel the next time I want to do it. So you can set it to your own output settings that you use for the web. So that's it. Check them out. Highly recommended. PhotoMark's great app. And until next time, this is Don Smith. Please check out my workshops, www.donsmithphotography.com. We have some cool workshops coming up. The first one I have that I have any openings in will be this fall. It's going to be in October. I believe it starts October 11th, and we're going to be on the beautiful garden island of Kauai. And the cool thing about that workshop is not only do we just have amazing locations to shoot all around the island, but the Kauai Beach Resort that we work with also we have a contest with them, and if they select one of your images as their favorite image, you're going to win a free weekend at the Kauai Beach Resort whenever you want to come back and hang out with them. And it's a really cool property. I highly recommend it. So send me an email if you're interested in that. Check it out on my website. My email is don@donsmithphotography.com. We also have all our other workshops listed for the year. Have 2 spots still remaining in Patagonia, gang, and that one's going to probably sell out really quickly. So until next time, take care.